10 horrifying events that actually happened on Friday the 13th by Matthew Santoro. Right? Yeah. Okay. Works. Interestingly enough, here's a little fun fact. It screams when you click the like button, by the way, especially in horror videos. Here's a little fun fact. My birthday is February 13th. That's a Friday. Well, I'm gonna die. Anyways, we'll jump in. Please consider liking and subscribing, and we're gonna listen to what this is.
Friday the 13th isn't just a spooky superstition. It's a date soaked in real-life horror. From plane crashes to freak accidents, these stories are terrifyingly true and far from coincidence. Brace yourself as we count down the 10 horrifying events that actually happened on Friday the 13th. The 13-minute lightning strike event.
13-minute lightning strike event. That's very interesting. Huh. Can we verify this?
It was a sunny summer afternoon in Los Angeles when a freak storm rolled in, fast and furious. A boy named Josiah was enjoying the beach with his family at Venice Beach when lightning struck without warning. In an eerie twist, the bolt hit at exactly 13:13 or 1:13 p.m., knocking several people unconscious and ending one man's life. Paramedics describe the strike as one of the most bizarre incidences they've ever seen. The National Weather...
Thankfully, I wasn't born on a Friday 13th. I was born on a Tuesday, innit? So yeah, there's that. So at least I wasn't the horrifying thing that happened on a Friday 13th. Aquarius? Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's correct. Yes. One of my friends turned 13 on Friday the 13th. Interesting. Horrifying. Truly.
Weather Service later confirmed that it was the only lightning bolt to touch down in the city that entire week. Some called it a statistical anomaly, and others were it was a terrifying reminder of nature's unpredictability, made even more chilling by the superstitious context. The Black Friday bushfires. Friday the 13th of January 1939 saw one of the most catastrophic...
I just think it's very interesting. See, when I was a kid, I experienced oddly enough, crazy lightning strikes as a kid. That was also very interesting in general.
Natural disasters in Australian history. Known as the Black Friday bushfires, this raging inferno engulfed the state of Victoria. Temperatures soared past 110 degrees Fahrenheit or 43 degrees Celsius, and powerful winds fanned the flames across the dry landscape. Over 1,300 homes and buildings were destroyed.
Well, fires. Okay. Interesting. See, we don't really have fires here in Germany, interestingly enough. I mean, it's not surprising, to be fair. It doesn't get super hot. The only time fires really happen is some retard would, like, forget a glass bottle in, like, the woods. That's pretty much it. You boring little blitz. What, lightning strike? Wait, what? Nobody's born in a lightning strike. If I was born while being struck by lightning, that would be pretty cool. Maybe I would have gotten superpowers.
Destroyed. Entire towns were wiped off the map, and smoke covered areas as far as New Zealand. Nearly 3/4 of the state was affected, with people fleeing in panic as walls of fire advanced. Though bushfires were common in the region, survivors described this particular day as hell on earth. The timing, Friday the 13th. Whether coincidence or curse, this was a nightmare day scorched into Australia's collective memory. The Andes plane crash. You've likely heard the haunting tale of the Andes survivors, but what you may not realize is that their flight crashed on Friday the 13th. The chartered Uruguayan Air Force plane was carrying a rugby team and their loved ones to Chile when it...
They're probably all dead. I'm assuming they're all dead, because usually when there's a plane crash, they're usually all dead. Unless... these people here behind me, next to me, are considered survivors. But look at how, if that's an actual picture, how demolished that is, doesn't seem to be the case.
Disappeared over the Andes Mountains. Harsh weather and navigational errors led to the plane crash into a glacier, stranding 33 people in sub-zero conditions. For over 2 months, they battled frostbite, starvation, avalanches, and isolation before...
Let me guess. They ate each other. I probably should move over so you can see the pictures. But I'm assuming that we're back to our favorite topic, cannibalism. they ate each other. 100%. They were munching on each other. Definitely.
Rescue finally arrived. What started as a fun trip turned into one of the most harrowing survival stories ever told. The survivors have said they no longer brush off Friday the 13th as a joke. It changed their lives forever. The Buckingham Palace, during the height of...
Wait, you have to literally censor burning? That's crazy. Hi Lulu, how you doing? Hope you're doing good. Hello. 5 streams, isn't your brain melting?
World War II, London was under siege from the Germans. On Friday the 13th of September 1940, a German made a direct hit on Buckingham Palace. Though King George VI and Queen Elizabeth survived, the explosion shattered windows, cracked walls, and brought the war to the royal doorstep. The Queen reportedly said she was glad it happened while she was there, so she could look the East End in the face. The symbolism was not lost on the British public, who viewed it as a unifying moment in the midst of chaos. Still, the fact that the occurred on such a notoriously unlucky date only amplified the sense of dread that loomed over the...
The fact that the word burning is supposedly problematic is very odd and very weird, to be fair. Also, that man is staring into my soul. Literally. Look at him. Look at him. Terrifying.
Nation. The stock market mini crash. Black Friday isn't just a shopping day, it was once a financial horror show. On Friday the 13th of October 1989, the Dow Jones Industrial Average plunged nearly 7%, wiping out billions in stock market value. The sudden drop was triggered by a failed leveraged buyout deal involving United Airlines' parent company. Panic set in across Wall Street, with analysts scrambling to understand the rapid unraveling. Some saw echoes of the 1929 crash, and a wave of pessimism swept through financial circles. Though the market later rebounded, the damage was already done. For investors who lost fortunes in a matter of hours, that Friday the 13th lived up to every ounce of its infamy. The fatal cyclone that hit Bangladesh. Friday the 13th struck with deadly force in Bangladesh in 1970 when a cyclone slammed into the coast, with wind speeds exceeding 115 miles per hour or
when our roof tiles were flying around, was it 2 years ago, 3 years ago? That was already enough, buddy. That was already enough. I don't want to imagine what people experience when like the real storms are happening. Like the real floods are happening. That was already enough. That was already terrifying enough. I don't want to experience anything like what they're experiencing. I'm good.
185 kilometers per hour. A storm surged over 30 feet high, and the cyclone devastated thousands of villages. At least 300,000 people lost their lives, making it one of the deadliest natural disasters ever recorded. Survivors spoke of a monstrous wall of water swallowing homes, crops, and entire communities. Communication lines were wiped out, aid was low, and chaos reigned. Many who lived through the disaster say it was no ordinary storm, but it felt apocalyptic. And it arrived on the most ominous date on the calendar, Friday the 13th. The Costa Concordia disaster. Though it didn't...
Oh, yeah, remember that one? Remember that one? I remember that one. Wasn't that the ship that essentially like started to fall on its side? Wasn't that the one that kept going for quite a while too as well?
Fully sink in until the next day.
Yeah, that one. I remember that one. I remember that one. Yeah, I remember that one. That one was big. That one was like big on the news. I remember that one.
Costa Concordia cruise ship struck disaster on Friday the 13th. The massive luxury liner hit underwater rocks near the Italian island of Giglio, tearing a 160-foot gash in its hull. Chaos erupted as thousands of passengers scrambled to evacuate. The ship tilted at a terrifying angle, trapping many inside. Rescue efforts stretched on for hours, and the aftermath became a global media storm. It was later revealed that the captain deviated from the planned route to perform a sail-by salute. The decision turned a celebratory voyage into a horror story, and the fact that it all began on Friday the 13th only made the tale...
But I'm good. You know, it's not the Titanic, but it's a ship sinking, that's for sure. Yeah, it tilted to its side and then just, yeah. Stupid, captain. That's true. Interesting. Yeah, I remember that one. That one was a big incident, yeah.
They'll feel that much more cursed. Tupac Shakur pronounced dead. While the incident that led to it occurred days earlier, iconic musician Tupac Shakur was officially pronounced dead on Friday, September 13th of 1996. The timing was eerie for fans who already believed his life was surrounded by mystery, symbolism, and fate. Many fans have connected the dots in strange ways, pointing to lyrics, dates, and numerology. Conspiracy theories flourished, with some even believing
Oh, yeah, Tupac. That was a thing. That was a thing. Interesting. Yeah. I wasn't there yet. I wasn't born yet. I was not even a thought. So I don't know.
he chose the date himself in some cryptic twist of destiny. Whether or not you buy into the hype, the timing added a strange chill to an already sad ending. For many, Friday the 13th gained a whole new meaning that day. The Kansas plane crash. On Friday the 13th of March of 1970, something terrible happened to the Wichita State University basketball team. Their plane went down in Colorado while en route to a game, ending the lives of 31 of 40 people on board, including players, coaches, and staff. Investigators found that pilot error and a poor flight plan led the aircraft into mountainous terrain with fatal consequences. The loss devastated the university and college basketball community. A second plane carrying the rest of the team arrived safely, only to be met with the news that their teammates were gone. The memorial stands to this day, reminding visitors of the...
Never heard of this one either. That one is also new. Never heard of this one. Very interesting. Terrifying. Yeah, there's a reason I don't go in planes. Of course, statistically, it's stupid to be afraid of planes, but I don't give a shit. I'm not setting foot into any plane ever.
Cruel twist of fate that occurred on that cursed Friday. The 13th space mission goes wrong. It's the most famous near catastrophe in space history. Apollo 13 was NASA's third mission intended to land on the moon, but an oxygen tank exploded, crippling the spacecraft. "Houston, we have a problem" became a legendary phrase. With limited power, no heat, and dwindling oxygen, astronauts Jim Lovell, Jack Swigert, and Fred Haise had to improvise with NASA's help to survive. They managed to slingshot around the moon and safely splash down, but it was a terrifyingly close call. The number 13, the date, and the disaster...
Terrifying experience, almost being forever stuck in the vacuum of space, dying. Well, not just dying, but just like, imagine never rotting. Just like flying, floating through space. Forever and ever.
Combined into what many believe was the unluckiest space mission in history. So, do you think that Friday the 13th is just still a silly superstition? Let me know in the comments, and if this creeped you out, make sure to subscribe, drop a like on this video, and I will see you in the next video because you will not want to miss what's next.
Yeah, to be fair, they made a movie of the Kansas plane crash. Interesting, I didn't know that. Yeah, I just think it's just a regular day. It's just that, like, all the time terrifying stuff happens on all kinds of days. I don't think, like, Friday the 13th is that really specific. It's just a normal day, to be fair. I'm believing that, at least. Nothing crazy, nothing special. That's just me, though. Anyways, like, comment, and subscribe.